Hello guys, welcome back to Beyond the Realms. I'm Jason, and today I'm going to be continuing a series that I started a while back entitled Best Picture Movie Review. For those of you that are not familiar with that, it is where I review a film that has previously won Best Picture, Academy Award, Oscar, whatever you want to call it. And today's film I'm going to be reviewing is from 1969, starring Dustin Hoffman and Jon Voight. It is Midnight Cowboy. Now this was actually my very first time watching this film. I've always heard about it, which, the thing that I've heard most about this film being notorious for is being the only film in history to win Best Picture with an X rating. Yes, indeed, folks, this film was rated X when it came out. It has since been re-rated as rated R, but at the time it was labeled with the X rating, so it's pretty amazing that it won Best Picture. So basically it tells the story of Jon Voight's character, Joe Buck, which he's a Texan, and he has dreams of a better life. So he quits his job as a dishwasher, dresses up as a cowboy, and decides that he's gonna hit the road and go to New York and be a hustler. He jumps on a bus and heads that way, and he has a way with women. He's a ladies' man. So he figures he can just live off of that when he gets to New York. So he gets there, and he's checking out the scene, and he finds a place where there's prostitution going on. So he starts slinging his game, and he picks up this older woman and takes her to the room. They do the deed, and afterwards he starts talking about money, and she freaks out, breaks down, starts crying. And he eventually ends up giving her money. Well, of course, she was a prostitute and thought he was just, another John coming along. So then he ends up meeting up with Dustin Hoffman, which his name, he goes by Ratso, I believe it is. Ratso. Enrico Rizzo's is his name, but he goes by Ratso. And so Ratso says he can hook him up with this pimp that can get him all kinds of business. But he needs $10 on the spot, and he's going to need another $10 once they get to the place. So they take him there, and when they get there, Ratso's really nervous. He wants his money, and he wants to leave immediately. The elevator took off and left him there. He wants to go. So he gets on the elevator and leaves, and Joe goes to this room. He's talking to this guy and thinks it's all a good deal. Well, then he comes to find out the guy's a preacher, and he's trying to lead him to Jesus. So he freaks out, leaves, and then he's really pissed, and he wants to get to Ratso after that. He just wants to get revenge on the guy. Well, eventually he does track him down, and he's going to beat his ass and all this stuff. He makes him empty out all of his pockets. He's going to take all of his money, and Ratso only has 64 cents on him. But he agrees to, all of a sudden, they start talking and stuff, and Ratso's like, hey, man, I know you don't have anywhere to stay, because what happened is Joe had a hotel, but he just ran out of money. Things aren't going nearly as well for him as he expected when he got to New York. So Ratso offers him to come stay at his place. Well, Ratso's place is an abandoned building he's living in that is just a complete rundown slum of a place. But, Joe has nowhere else to go, and decides to go ahead and take Ratso up on his offer. So when they get there, they're talking about things. Ratso's talking about how, he wants to go to Miami, he wants to live in Florida, all this stuff. He has a bum leg, he can't get around real well, and he has this cough also, and this is also like in the summertime when they meet up. So Joe tells him his plan, says he doesn't know what he's going to do. Ratso gets by being like a third-rate con man. He pickpockets, he steals from people, he swindles people. He's a very sly guy, but he's just a complete dirtball. I mean, both inside and out. I mean, he's a very dirty man. But Ratso, sees that Joe has a way with women, so they decide what they're going to do is they're going to fix Joe up. They're going to get him all clean his clothes up, and Ratso's going to be his manager, and and Joe is going to be the ladies' man, to be a male prostitute, and that's basically what goes on in Midnight Cowboy. And things get pretty crazy. I mean, they go to levels of desperation that's just insane to think about. And Joe has to end up, he's a male prostitute, and it doesn't go so well with getting the ladies, so he has to go with a man at one time. And at one point they get invited to this party that's kind of like Andy Warhol-esque, where everybody's it's real artsy type party. Everybody's tripping, everybody's taking pills and smoking weed, and it's a very trippy part of the film. But that's your basic premise of Midnight Cowboy. And I have to say that this film really surprised me. It is an excellent film. And they just don't award movies Best Picture anymore that push the boundaries like this film did. I mean, this film, you think about the time that it came out and how it is. I mean, it's a shocking film. I mean, it's basically showing you the dark side of the American dream, the downside of that. It's, come here and, live the big life, get a good job and you have everything you ever wanted and all this stuff. This is showing the downside of that. And it's a really incredible film all the way around. I was very, very impressed with this. Jon Voight and Dustin Hoffman does an amazing job in this film, especially Dustin Hoffman. Just absolutely incredible, because, I mean, you really believe they are these characters. Joe Buck is a very naive character, that just doesn't understand what he's getting himself into, and once he gets himself into, he's very naive to the whole situation. And Ratso is he's a tried and true con man all the way around. I mean, he knows how to swindle people and pickpocket stuff easily, and just get around things. That's how he's survived, and he's always been poor his entire life, and he's just a really dirty ass guy. I mean, and you just totally believe that he's this character. I mean, Dustin Hoffman is just so amazing in this film, and it's an excellent film. I mean, there's so many awesome scenes of how this was shot. I love the part where Joe Buck is meeting up with this girl. It's going to be his first job under, Ratso being his manager. And Ratso's sitting there watching the whole thing take place through the hotel window of him getting ready to meet up with this woman. And Ratso's having all these grand visions of being on a beach and, them having massages done, and they're all cleaned up and they're all in, really nice clothes and all this stuff. It's just really cool how they shot that, because then, things as they fall apart, the fantasy that Ratso is having also falls apart. It's really cool how it's shot, and the whole scene I talked about with the drug party, amazing scene, just amazing, very trippy, psychedelic type stuff going on in that scene. But guys, I just I'm just amazed that this film got Best Picture, that they even acknowledge this film. I mean, considering how the Academy is these days, I still like the Oscars and the Academy Awards and stuff, but they just definitely don't pick movies like this anymore. I mean, this movie it really pushes the envelope, and it's not just that it pushes the envelope, it's just a great film, though, too. I mean, there's so many films that came along that in today's day and age that's pushed the envelope and just have been great films also, but they're totally ignored by the Academy. Something like this, if it came out these days, it probably wouldn't get the same recognition. I guess they would just, take more chances back in these days. But this is an excellent film. I can't say it enough. I recommend it all the way around. As far as Midnight Cowboy rating for this one goes, guys, I give it a 9.5 out of 10. I mean, it's damn near perfect film all the way around. And when it started off, I didn't know what to expect, because when it's showing Joe Buck going around his town and being on this bus and stuff, it's playing this really corny 60s pop song, And at first, I just didn't know what to think. I mean, because it took a little while for him to get to New York, and in that time period, I'm just thinking, like, man, I don't get it so far. But I mean, once he does get to New York and he meets up with Ratso, I mean, stuff really starts to take a different turn. You know, I guess at the beginning they're just trying to play off that, you know, Joe's very naive and he's just a good old boy, and he just, you know, has dreams of being a hustler. You know, he just wants to pimp himself out and make money, and I guess it's just trying to convey the naive side to him at the beginning. But it certainly doesn't stay that way. But guys, yeah, I definitely see why this got Best Picture. It also got Best Screenplay, Best Adapted Screenplay, and Best Director also. And it was directed by John Schulesinger, however the hell you say it. I just totally butchered that, but oh well. But anyway, guys, highly recommend this film. Check it out if you've never seen it. If you like a film that's dirty, it's gritty, it's going to show New York right at the time when 42nd Street was starting to really get bad, stuff like that. I mean, it shows the grit and grime of society without question in this. So I highly recommend this movie, guys. Check it out. So yeah, that's it. I am Jason. I appreciate you guys watching. Hope you are doing well. Have a good one.